Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to say, my English is not good, so I hope I would like to just read my paper, and I'm quite nervous because such conference for me is first time, and when I heard this conference will held in Bhutan, so I was always excited to visit Bhutan. So I think this is the one purpose I try to submit this paper. Then when I write this paper at the beginning, the words for my presentation, it happens like around 4,000 something. Then I asked my friends for the correction. Then he cut it all the way until I think now I've left only 1,000 words something. So then just now I realized that actually my turn is at last. Then okay, so I just want to read my paper. In the context of Vajrayāna Buddhism, the process of learning Buddhism can be classified into 3 steps: listening, contemplating, and meditation. Although meditation is an essential part of the practice, listening and contemplating is indispensable, which must be processed prior to practice of meditation. The first step refers to grasping of conceptual knowledge of basic and detail of the teachings, while the second step refers to understanding the reliability and validity of the knowledge. Obtain the first step. The third step is directly relevant to this presentation. When it comes to third step, it is essential to apply consistently as per design and the instruction. This practice is considered as preliminary practice, which is necessary for Vajrayānic practitioners. This practice need to be embraced at beginning before engaging into any kind of Vajrayāna practices. In Tibetan, this practice is called ngondo, which literally means go before or go earlier, and it often understood as foundational practice. Without going through the foundational practice, it would not be possible for disciple of Vajra vehicle to practice efficiently. The founder of Drikung school, Kyoba Jigden Sumgun, remarked, the preliminary practice is profounder than the actual practice. This school emphasized the preliminary practice to be applied along with fivefold Mahamudra. So I think many of you know that in Tibetan Vajrayāna tradition, for the practice for the preliminary practice, different traditions have different styles of for the practice. So according to this Drikung school, Drikung school, this preliminary practice is called fivefold Mahamudra preliminary practice. Then the fivefold Mahamudra is a set of precepts which should be practiced along with the actual body of preliminary practice. The fivefold Mahamudra are: first, bodhicitta, the altruistic intention of liberating all sentient beings from samsara. Second is yidam, or deity, practice of visualizing oneself as a supremely enlightened being. Third, Guru Yoga, seeking union with the wisdom mind of the master. Fourth, Mahamudra, actual engagement of Mahamudra, and finally dedication, perfect dedication of one's virtues. The traditional account asserts that the fivefold Mahamudra was also taught by prominent great yogi Milarepa. Although the term fivefold Mahamudra was not used in his teaching to Nyama Leksebum, the content of the teaching clearly signifies basic idea of the fivefold practice, that is, practicing compassion to all sentient beings, visualizing oneself as Avalokiteshvara, as well as visualizing the root Lama, prolonging the practice of Mahamudra, and transferring the accumulated wholesome deeds to sentient beings. Drikung Phangmo, I think he is in 11th century, a direct disciple of Gampopa, the founder of Thakpo school, combined the essential teachings of 3 baskets and 4 stages of tantric teachings. This condensed form of teaching was titled The Profound Fivefold Path of Mahamudra. Then after that, I would like to say something about how fivefold Mahamudra became important in Drikung school. The significance of the fivefold Mahamudra can be seen in the discussion between Drikung Phangmo and his direct disciple, Kyopa Jigden Sumgun. When Kyopa Jigden Sumgun asked the master if practicing Guru Yoga alone is sufficient enough for him on the daily practice, in response, Mahamudra instructed Kyopa Jigden Sumgun, I quote it, son, until the stage of enlightenment, you should never be separated from this fivefold teaching, unquote. As according to Mahamudра's instruction, Kyopa Jigden Sumgun highly emphasized this practice, and since then, it became very popular. Generally in Kagyu school and particularly in Drikung school. As the fivefold of Mahamudra has been taken as a very unique practice in Drikung school. Therefore, during the course of practice, this tradition highly emphasized to complete all the components of fivefold practice in one single session. Then, when it comes to the actual preliminary practice, as I said before, different traditions have different styles for Mondro or preliminary practice. This paper tends to discuss about the fivefold path of Mahamudra preliminary practice according to Drikung Kagyu lineage. In general, although the aim, benefits, and the actual body of preliminary practice are somehow similar with one and another in all Vajrayāna traditions, however, there are some essential differences appeared in Drikung Kagyu tradition. This paper will attempt to explore them. Gampo Chenga, who was a prominent scholar in Drikung school, disclosed 11 main body of preliminary practice. And they are classified into 3 folds. The first, 4 common outer practice. The second, 4 uncommon inner practices. And the third, 3 special practices. The first 4 common outer practices refer to 4 thoughts that turn mind towards the Dharma. That is actually Lodon Namshi in Tibetan. They are precious human birth, notion of impermanence, force of samsara, and the function of law of karma. They are considered as the root of all the practices. They are similar to the foundation of a building. Therefore, this school emphasized practicing the 4 common outer practice for at least 3 days to 7 days before engaging in uncommon inner practice. The 4 common outer practice is highly emphasized in this school, as it stated by Jigden Sumgun says, the practices which are not considered as performed by others are performed in this lineage. The four uncommon inner practice refers to practicing refuge and bodhicitta, vajrasattva, mandala offering, and guru yoga. With regard to the difference feature, the refuge tree or the object of refuge practice contains various differences. At the meantime, the practice of visualizing is also different. For instance, one should visualize the father and mother at the right and left side while an enemy in front of himself or herself. According to Zhichenkhar, the practice of visualizing enemies who comes in a form of harming, making obstacles to practice and liberation should always be prioritized. While practicing the refuge and mandala, this tradition emphasized to do prostration 100,000 times as to the best, 70,000 times as to mediocre, and 30,000 times for the least. During the Guru Yoga practice, the practitioner needs to visualize Guru as four kayas in the order of Nirmanakaya, Sambhogakaya, Dharmakaya, and Swabhakakaya. In terms of visualization practice, this school carried dissolving deities from top to bottom, such as Vajradhara dissolving to Tilopa and to Naropa and to Marba and so on until the root master. At last, root master dissolved into oneself, for example, the practitioner. At the meantime of dissolving the root master to oneself, one should visualize four channels at different places in the physical body: the channel of great bliss at the crown center, the channel of enjoyment at the throat center, and the channel of dharma at the heart center, the channel of emanation at the navel center. Among these 11 main body of preliminary practices, the last three special practice refers to practice of loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. The special practices are considered very precious, important, and special in Drikung lineage. The practitioner should continue to practice on the special preliminary practice after completing all the 500,000 times of uncommon inner practices. This also shows that loving kindness and compassion are essence of Buddha's teaching, and it needed to practice in all three times. In this tradition, in the section of bodhicitta practice, the practice of prostration is applied along with it. Bodhicitta practice is as it adopts prior to all other practices. Therefore, it's important in terms of at the initial, at the middle, and the end of the all practices. Unlike other traditions, the fivefold Mahamudra preliminary practice is neither mere sutra-based nor mere tantra-based. Rather, this is the path of the union of sutra and tantra. For example, among five folds, the first, which is bodhicitta, and the last, dedication, are classified into sutra-based teaching. Other three components of the fivefold, among them, the yidam or deity practice refers to the creation stage of visualization, kerim, and the Mahamudra refers to the completion stage of visualization, zorim, and both are tantra-based teaching. The Guru Yoga practice of the fivefold is classified in both sutra-based and tantra-based teaching, and these components is understood as an assistant to practice other four components. In this way, fivefold teaching is essential for Mahamudra practice. As Zhichenkhar said, Mahamudra is like a lion with eyes, but without fivefold, it is like a blind lion. So I think I finished my main presentation. So just for the conclusion, it is important for the practitioner to have proper and stable mindset to do Dharma practice. Through the proper practice of preliminary practice, one can develop renunciation and acquire great compassion to all sentient beings. Having such mindset and renunciation, the practitioner is able to practice Dharma genuinely. Otherwise, one may appear to be practicing Dharma in a form of practicing non-Dharma. Therefore, there is a risk to fall down into the 8 worldly concerns. The 11 categories of fivefold Mahamudra preliminary teaching is profound key points and indispensable part of instruments for one individual to attain enlightenment state. Thank you.